it's going to be wide open, as Gary said. That I think we're going to look at Trevor and Sanchez and Mark and see how they do, and with throwing Paxton in there too. So I think that's what's exciting about finally getting to start camp, as we get to see what how it's going to really take shape. And so you know, Gary is very seasoned at that position, and so you know, I know he's going to handle it the right way, and we'll find the right guy.
Broncos General Manager John Elway saying that he expects the quarterback competition to be wide open. Mark Sanchez, Trevor Siemian, Paxton Lynch. Darren Woodson joins us now. How are we doing?
I'm doing great.
All right, your first.
What's up, man?
I'm enjoying it. I can't wait till you guys go to New York to the Jets camp.
So
this guy done talking bad about him. You too, Max. This guy
I don't think I was talking bad about it. I think I was just being honest. I think I was just being honest.
You're just telling the truth.
I mean, what do you think? I'm supposed to be scared.
No, Stephen A, you see what it is?
I'll be there.
See what
I'm
it is?
coming.
He likes it when I tell the truth about boxing, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
right.
it's not, but you don't like it when we tell the truth about football.
You can't talk like that about football, man.
There you go.
You can't start that way.
There you go. Well, listen, be happy I'm allowing you on the show, former
Former
Cowboy. I'm just saying. You know,
Molly,
Cowboys are not really welcome.
No character issues right here. Thank you for being with us. You know we love having you. Darren, has Elway dropped the ball?
Listen, I think it started with Brock Osweiler. They had a chance, a quarterback that went 5-2, backed up Peyton Manning, went 5-2. They dropped the ball as far as signing Brock Osweiler. I think that's where it started. That's where it started. Listen, because you go 5-2 in that system with that defense.
We need a camera on Stephen A's face.
And it's proven that you've gone 5-2.
Please, someone put a camera on Stephen A's face.
I think that's where they started. I think that's where it started as far as dropping the ball, as far as signing a quarterback. Because now you're in a situation where you go and get a Mark Sanchez to come in, and basically he's supposed to be your starting guy. And now they're talking Trevor Siemian, who's a 7th-round pick, 250 to be exact. And then you got Paxton Lynch coming in as a true rookie. If you're a guy like DeMarcus Ware, you're on that defensive side of the ball, Von Miller, especially DeMarcus Ware, and you're at the twilight of your career, it's all about winning championships. That's all you want to do. And I've been in that position. I went from Troy Aikman to Carter.
Yep.
Right.
As a starting
Quincy Carter.
Quincy Carter.
Yeah, can't even remember his first name.
Sorry, man. But I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember his first name. I'm sitting here thinking, I'm at the twilight of my career. All I want to do is win football games. DeMarcus Ware is sitting there right now saying, who's going to win that starting? Who's going to win that starting job?
I can't take you right now. I can't take you. I'm not letting you get away with this, Darren Woodson.
Go ahead,
You're the same guy that was on this show last year. I love Peyton Manning, Hall of Famer, one of the greatest ever. But he's not the same. He has fallen off tremendously. Now you're telling me that they win a Super Bowl with Peyton Manning being a shell of himself, but John Elway dropped the ball because he offers Brock Osweiler in excess of $30 million, and Brock Osweiler didn't want to stay there and have the pressure of succeeding one of the great quarterbacks, being on a reigning defending Super Bowl champion, and he ran to Houston. That's what he did. That's what he did. I'm sorry. Do you not know? Do you not know?
$30 million? Let me ask you. Offered him. He said, listen, that's what they said. I don't know that for a fact. Giving Von Miller money. Who's to say he just threw money around to Brock Osweiler?
Wait. That's homegrown and nurtured. You know, it's a little bit different for Brock Osweiler than it is for the brother named Von Miller running around playing around with snakes. All right, let's stop that nonsense, okay? We all know there's a different level of treatment that Von Miller was going to receive compared to Brock Osweiler, who was your nurtured, trained, groomed successor to one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. Yes. You know that. So
I think that's a good point about Osweiler. That was a sunk cost for them. They invested time in him, holding the clipboard.
That's all I'm saying.
Peyton. But here's the thing about John Elway.
Go ahead.
Look, John Elway got to the Super Bowl consecutive years, and one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. You could argue even the best, maybe, but got to the Super Bowl consecutive years as GM, once with an offense without a defense, the very next year with a defense without an offense. I mean, you got to give it to this guy. So before you criticize, you have to assume he knows what he's doing. However, here's the problem right now. He said during the negotiations, there should be a middle class for quarterbacks. He was sending a signal to Osweiler, look, you're not a bum, but you're not a franchise player either. We'd like to pay you in between. Osweiler wasn't trying to hear it. There was a market for him. We understand that. Here's where Elway messed up. He dropped the ball. As you said, this team is poised to win another championship. Who's their starting quarterback going to be most likely? Mark Sanchez. And let me tell you who Mark Sanchez is. Mark Sanchez is the Jeff Green of the NFL. The forward, NBA forward. He's a dangerous player. Like Jeff Green, he's dangerous. They're really backup players, but they're good enough in stretches to fool you into thinking they can be starters. And because you give them too much responsibility and they're not good and consistent enough, they sink your chances to win. That's Mark Sanchez.
I resent that comparison.
Simeon's not ready. Simeon's not ready, and Paxton Lynch is probably a year or two away.
Right.
They're going into the season without a quarterback.
Let me chime in here. Hold on for 1 second, Darren. First of all, it's an insult to Jeff Green because Jeff Green, well, first of all, he can play. He's relatively consistent, and even though he's good enough to make you believe he's a starter, he is somebody who's perfectly content playing whatever role you want him to play.
Should be on the bench.
As long as he gets his minutes and they're winning. Whereas Mark Sanchez will come out and tell you, lie to your face by telling you he deserves to be a starter when he himself knows good and damn well he's got no business being a starter.
Wait a minute.
He's a quarterback.
Did I stutter? I didn't stutter. That's number one. Get to your point number two. Get to your point number two. Brock Osweiler ran to Houston. Now, you're sitting up there and John Elway gets blamed for that? How?
But first of all, I'd like to say he probably didn't offer him the money that he probably wanted and deserved.
Well,
he
went listen to the inside. That's what they said.
5-2. Stephen A., he proved himself and went 5-2.
You know what? Tony Romo went 12-4.
No.
Don't get me started with what he deserved.
He didn't prove himself because the bottom line is on a team with the remains of Peyton Manning, because Peyton Manning was a terrible quarterback last year.
Absolutely.
With the remains of Peyton Manning got yanked in the middle of a playoff game, and as a direct result of that move, they were able to win a Super Bowl. So if you can't even ride it out with the remains of Peyton Manning,
it was not Peyton Manning that won that went to the Super Bowl and took that team to the Super Bowl.
It was the defense. It was which is why it was your priority for John Elway to do that, to take care of Osweiler.
No, listen. I think if you look at it, he's a young quarterback, and you can't tell me that he didn't get rubbed wrong. Listen, if you're a competitor at a quarterback position, I don't care what position you're playing, and you're a guy, I don't care if it's Peyton Manning, if it's Joe Montana, and he's sitting on the bench, and you're the starting quarterback that day, and you're in a game, you don't want to get pulled. That's the rub.
Why you get pulled? Why you get pulled against San Diego that day?
He wasn't playing all that. He came in and saved them.
That's the point. He wasn't playing well. So what you supposed to do? I understand that. Well, actually, he threw for 69 yards, threw a nice, good pass, got a couple of good passes.
And it was that defense
Wait a minute. I understand that. But the flip side to it, Darren Woodson, is this. You Brock Osweiler for this particular season. He's Peyton Manning. The man's been in the league for 18 years. He's universally the greatest regular season quarterback ever, one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. And you know good and well, not only are you not going to take the job away from him this particular season because this is his swan song, but also you win the chip and it's your team. It's your team.
Well, how do you know how? Listen. What was the rub? There had to be a rub somewhere along the line where Brock Osweiler felt like you don't appreciate.
It couldn't have been he didn't want that challenge. It couldn't have been he didn't want that challenge.
I think they didn't appreciate who he was.
Oh,
really?
So what do you say? Let's talk about who he was. Hold on. Let's talk about who he was. Osweiler, listen, you think Elway knows something about quarterbacks? Recognized who he was. He's a middle-class quarterback. He's not a bum. He's not a star. He wanted to be and got paid like a star, and Elway properly valued him and said, we're not going to pay you that way. In terms of the fact that the defense won the Super Bowl, yes, of course, that's true. All they needed was a quarterback to not screw it up, a quarterback to ride the defense to the chip. Osweiler wasn't even good enough to do that. They had to pull him.
So we're saying right now that Mark Sanchez is going to be the savior.
No. You think he's going to be the starter?
So let's talk about this. So we're saying Trevor Siemian is going to be the starter, the savior.
No.
So Paxton Lynch is going to be the guy then.
No, but Colin Kaepernick may have been able to do it. RG3.
There is no Colin Kaepernick.
Fitzpatrick may have been able to do it.
But there is no Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick, there was a market for him.
1 year, $12 million.
I need to get back to something else because I think right now we need to get back to the biggest point in all of this based off of that soliloquy that Darren Woodson went on. John Elway a two-time Super Bowl champion, who's been to 5 Super Bowls, who's a Hall of Famer, rather, and one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history, not to mention as a great executive, he's proven to be this. This man nurtures, he grooms this guy to be the successor to Peyton Manning. And you're going to sit here and say it's more of a possibility that John Elway screwed Brock Osweiler over rather than Brock Osweiler running to Houston?
Absolutely.
You got to be crazy. I can't believe you would say something like that. Really? Really? You got this defense. Think about this. You've got this defense, Max. You're a quarterback for the Denver Broncos. You don't even have to be great. Peyton Manning proved that. You don't even have to be great. I understand they lost. Look, they lost Malik Jackson, they lost Trevathan, they lost the crew. I get that. But the defense is still considered stout. You know this. You're the reigning, defending Super Bowl champions, and you can be average and still win another chip. And you leave for Houston? And you leave for Houston?
You just spoke to it right there.
He left because of money and he got pulled.
I mean, listen, you just spoke to it. You just said it.
Not because he's scared.
He knows.
He
knew who he had.
Hold on.
He knew he had.
Hold on. I got to move over here. Molly. I'm going to bring Molly in this. Did Molly... Hold on. I'm sorry, I got to get in light. Hold on.
You got to be careful with football knowledge.
Wait a minute.
He didn't get paid, right?
Please. I ain't scared of nobody.
And he got pulled because of Peyton Manning. That's why he left.
I'll say this respectfully, Miss Molly,
Sorry.
because I don't want to speak to you in the tone that I spoke to him, but I will get on you about this. Are you trying to tell me that just because you play the quarterback position in the NFL, that there's everybody, no one's scared? No one's scared.
He's not scared.
No, hold on. You said...
I don't think Brock Osweiler said, no, don't
Your
play
words
his
were,
statement,
your
Dave.
words
You're
were,
trying to-
Molly's words were, he's a quarterback.
You
He's
gotta
a
have some
quarterback.
confidence to be a quarterback in the National Football
Let me
League.
clear this. As usual, I have to clear all of this up. On the one hand, Elway overplayed his hand.
You've been there for 3 days.
Well, and
As
amazing
usual.
how quickly I established that. In 3 days, I'm going to be on the voice of reason. Osweiler was not worth the money. That's true. Elway was right about that. On the other hand, you have to have a better backup plan than going into the season with Mark Sanchez as your starter.
Thank you.
Wait a minute.
He might not be the starter.
Have a backup plan. They didn't have one.
I feel you on that. If you want to get on them for not having a backup plan, but understand why. Because he knew that he was going to take care of Brock Osweiler, and he didn't think Osweiler was going to run. Ha!
Well, that's his
Ha!
problem.
You got the last word, but you're
Yes,
not
I did. Yes, I
Darren
did.
Woodson, why do you always get this man so fired
Oh, my
up? Thank
goodness.
you.
Darren just does something to mess with me. He just
Yeah,
does
he
something to
does.
mess
He
with
gets
me,
all
man.
fired up.
He did
Darren
it
will
on
be back
purpose.
with this
Jump,
later.
boy. I mean.
From the jump.